Hi, it's Courtney again, America's Jewish mother. Welcome back to my channel. In my desire to put out content every day for a week to have a good start on my channel, today is going to be Tag Tuesday. Brian from Bookish does Tag Tuesday, so why not? Since I'm still new to BookTube, I figured today I would do the BookTube Newbie tag. Very appropriate, right? So I'm going to be referring to the questions which are on my laptop over here. So question one is, why did you start this channel? Well, first reason is I finally gave in to peer pressure from Lindsay, from Lindsay's Book Life, who had been sort of hounding me about starting a channel for a while. But no, like in more seriousness, I have enjoyed the BookTube community as a commenter and watcher of videos for over 6 months, and I wanted to become more a part of the community, and this seemed like a good way to do it. Question two, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Well, I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, another white lady booktuber. There's definitely an overrepresentation, right? But here are some fun and unique things I can bring to BookTube. Number one, I don't think anyone else has coined themselves America's Jewish mother, so there's that. Two, I have an adorable dog, which is not necessarily unique among booktubers, but she's pretty freaking cute. What else am I bringing? I have passions for strong women characters. Like, my favorite TV shows of all time are things like The Golden Girls, Designing Women, Murder, She Wrote. Are we sensing a theme yet? I'm also super into Meryl Streep, Our Greatest Living Actress, and Cher. So definitely passion for strong female figures and characters. Also passionate about Judaism, passionate about being a dog mom, and I'm also passionate about reducing my physical TBR, which again is not really unique to booktubers, generally speaking, but when I started this year, I had close to 140 books on my physical TBR that were not yet read, and I have now gotten it down to 115. So one of my goals for the year was to get that number under 100, so I am very close. I just need to read 16 more books, and I'll have it down under 100, which is very exciting. I'm also bringing some unique academic interests, I think, because most of what I'm going to read falls into one of the 3 areas that I studied in graduate school. So either African American literature, Jewish American lit, or American pragmatism. So I highly doubt you're seeing any other channel that has that particular combination of reading interests. Question 3, what are you most excited about for this channel? I am excited about making more BookTube friends because, again, I've really valued commenting on people's videos and watching people's videos for, well over 6 months now. So I'm excited to make more friends through BookTube, and I'm excited to have more discussions about books, especially since, I can't teach in person right now. And honestly, we're probably not going to be teaching in person in fall either. Now, they haven't told us that. They've actually said they're planning right now to have in-person fall teaching, but I don't know that will happen. So anyway, it enables me to have more discussions about books, especially since I can't discuss books in person in an actual discussion forum with my students right now, which is very sad. Question 4, why do you love reading? I really value seeing some aspect of my own life reflected in literature, and I think when you see that, it shows us how interconnected that we all are. For example, earlier this year, Lindsay and I buddy read Anna Karenina together, and both of us were just struck several times by how keen an insight Tolstoy has into human nature, and both of us had the experience at multiple points throughout reading the book of reading something in the way that Tolstoy describes it and feeling like he had just succinctly captured how we have felt about that same thing in that situation. And I think, the fact that this book was written 150 years ago, right, it shows us that we really have more similarities than differences, and it shows us that human nature doesn't really change all that much over time. And I really love books that reveal something useful or insightful about human nature or about how we relate to one another. Let's see. Question 5. What book or series got you into reading? So I have a notoriously bad memory, first of all, but I do remember reading a couple of series in my youth. One was a series called Great Illustrated Classics, which basically abridged some classic book like Treasure Island or Frankenstein or something like that, and then it had illustrations on every page. So I read those. I was also super into Goosebumps as a kid. And then a little bit later on, when I got a bit older, I was really into this fantasy series by Patricia Reed that started with a book called Dealing with Dragons. I think it was maybe like a 4-book series. But those are really like the series that I remember from my childhood reading days. But I've really always liked reading. For as long as I can remember, my parents were putting a book in my hand and I was asking for more. All right, question 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? So I think this is sort of a trick question because it's trying to get me to reveal my favorite booktubers. So I will start out by saying that I do not have just one favorite booktuber. I have several favorites. But in terms of the people that I most closely follow, I was able to come up with questions that I would ask 2 of those folks. So one question I would ask is to Heidi from My Reading Life, which is about her presidential reading challenge. And I'm just really interested in what made her want to read biographies of every U.S. president. And it's fascinating to me because I would never do that. And so I'm curious what it is that made her want to read biographies of all the U.S. presidents. I think it's definitely an admirable challenge, and I think it seems like based on what she said so far, she has learned a lot about the presidents already, and I assume she will learn a lot more. But yeah, it's just interesting to me because that's really something I would never do. So what prompted you to read all of these biographies of U.S. presidents? And then the second question I came up with would be to Brian from Bookish, which is, what exactly is the backstory on your and Steve Donahue's ongoing back and forth about Dude Bro Lit? And who else, if anyone, is involved in this discussion, and what sort of prompted it all? I did see Brian's recent cozy reading night of Dude Bro Lit, or cozy Dude Bro reading night, whatever he called it, which was cute. And then I went back recently and watched Steve Donahue's 7 Sins of Dude Bro Lit video, and I'm just like, what prompted all of this? So I would ask Brian that. And then the last question is, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be hardest to overcome? So in the past, I was hesitant to start a channel because of the time commitment, but since we all seem to have a lot more time these days being in quarantine, I figured that even though there's definitely going to be a learning curve with making videos and putting them up and editing them and stuff like that, I currently have more time to figure it out and to establish some kind of regular routine or schedule with what types of videos I'm going to be doing and what days I can film them and upload them and things like that. So that is the BookTube Newbie tag. If you are new to BookTube, I encourage you to do this tag. I think it's a good way to get to know people. So yeah, I hope everyone's staying healthy and well. I hope you're all getting good reading in. And until we meet again, would it kill you to call your mother?